Why don't they celebrate Christmas in Australia?
Why?
Because they couldn't find 3 wise men and a virgin. Just kidding, you guys. They do celebrate Christmas in Australia.
I don't know. I mean, there's this whole rumor that Australia doesn't even exist.
I know. Isn't that wild?
Like birds. There's the bird one too, where birds aren't real.
Well, I've seen the bird ones that they're like supposedly like Japanese spy things. But yeah, there's a whole like group of people who do not think Australia exists.
It's like the flat Earth theory, but it's that Australia's not real.
But then, so where do the people who live in Australia live? They are just like mythical creatures.
Have you ever seen the Truman Show?
Yeah,
it's like that. They're sending you on a plane, and you get off somewhere. But how do you know you're in Australia?
Yeah, you don't. But also, then
you're on a movie set.
But where do the Australians live?
On a movie set.
A movie set.
Yeah.
Oh God, I didn't know that.
Yes, you can explain anything away.
I mean, for real. I mean, I guess it explains why I never died of like a spider bite or something.
Right.
I think it would also explain like what's why most of them are the way they are.
Just a little
drinking a lot. Just
Do
kidding.
they?
No, not at all.
No.
But speaking of Australians, today is our episode where my lovely friend Sausage comes on and we talk all things wild, weird, and unknown.
Right? It was like Bigfoot. We're going to talk about Australian Bigfoot, but it kind of morphed into this great conversation.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy like us who loves all of the, all the things, the cryptids, the conspiracy theories, the paranormal, all of that. And so, I mean, obviously you guys will hear there's a lot of like him and I talking because we've known each other for a very long time about stuff, but I tried to cut most of the stuff that no one else will understand. And also hopefully you guys can understand his accent.
I don't think it's a thick accent, but I could understand him.
But I know, but you do a good job of understanding people.
That's true.
Then it's also over radio where you can't or air, you can't see people's lips move.
Are we on the radio?
We might be on the radio.
On the radio. Weird noise just came out of my mouth.
Yeah, it does happen. But yeah, so I mean, we were going to come up with a name for this. We discussed that, and we haven't yet. So we need to come up for a name for when we have Sausage on.
The Great Down Under.
The Great Down Under. We're going to come up with it, you guys, but we haven't gotten it yet. But so if you have any suggestions for whatever we will call this series when this lovely gentleman comes on and discusses things with us, let us know. And thank you again, Sausage, for coming on. And
hello and welcome to Lunatic Soup, the podcast where we go into all things wild, weird, and unknown. We're your host, Meg.
And I'm Reyna, ready to brew up some lunatic soup.
Let's go. Down under. I wish it were Friday, 10:30 in the morning.
Porridge, what are you drinking? Only in Adelaide. In Adelaide, it's the only one that's half hour different, and they're a day ahead. So he's Friday, 10:30 in the morning.
Oh, I wish it were Friday, 10:30 in the morning.
Porridge, what are you drinking? Yes.
I thought you guys do it, so fuck it,
I'm very disappointed you didn't go get a cider, sir, but I will accept a Han Super Dry.
My flight got delayed, and everything was fucking shut by the time I landed.
Oh,
because there's this couple of good pubs where they sell all this microbrewery shit now, and there's like, I was trying to find this Yowie fucking cider thing, and I just ran out of time.
A Yowie cider
would have been so good.
Yeah, it's something like that. I got to chase it down. Did you ever go to the Edinburgh, Reyna?
Yeah, of course I went to the Edinburgh. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that bottle is like just loaded with like random shit.
Damn.
So I'll see if I can chase them up.
We just spent not way too long, but it was a quick catch up. We had Sausage's mom came on really fast, and his wife and his kids, who all are,
all good things.
All good things, and people who I love and miss so much. But so we're back. Anyways, so Sausage and Tom grew up together, I think is what we left off on. And so they've known each other basically their whole lives, or Tex, not Tom. Ooh, he's going to kill me for that.
I'm so confused with the going back and forth. Like,
welcome to my life.
Who the hell is this Tom guy? And I called him Thomas once, and I thought he was going to backhand me.
But then Sausage calls him Monos. But wait, Sausage, what do you call? So what do you call him?
Monos,
which is what?
Edmonds. Edmonds. That's why. But
we
got two guys.
This is what is speaking Australian. They take a word and they like transform it.
Do whatever.
Where does dugong come from?
I
know the story of why he's called dugong.
So there's what it looked like when it happened. and we just like fucking
But
sea
yeah,
cow.
but in Australia, sea cow is a dugong. That's the
Right.
name of it. Yeah.
And
So-
when I was in Florida, I took a bunch of pictures of manatees and I sent them to your
Yes,
husband.
that
I'm
is-
like, it's you.
it is.
Yeah,
That is him.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is
It was
Monos.
pretty funny.
It is. It is.
That was a good
All
watch
right.
he found.
Oh God. All right. So why we are here today is to get Sausage's expertise on the Australian lore, legend, and all of the good things of Australia.
I
Yeah.
want to hear it all.
Is that correct?
Definitely, there is no higher education that I've gone through on this, but I'm an absolute fan. So I just read, and I love hearing about all these different encounters, especially of Yowies and shit. But then I always and it doesn't matter if it's the Sasquatch one, people ask me at work because they make fun of me. I lap it up, man. I love it. But what's the difference, Yowie and a Sasquatch? So nothing. It's all just a regional thing, right? And it's pretty well the same over there. You guys got your skunk apes, and I think they're just down south, eh? And then
It's so funny.
your Bigfoots. You got over orang pendeks, like in Asia. Your Yerrans,
That's how you say it. So we
Yeah.
just right before we got on with you, we did a Bigfoot Around the World episode, and we just talked about most of those things.
Yeah. So it was like funny to hear you bring them all up. He is very.
I did not do the Yowie because I knew we were going to be talking about it. So
yeah. So
But
I
it's
mean-
like you said, it's all basically the same, similar character, upright,
It is.
bipedal creature, mostly covered in hair, part man, part ape.
And for the
Yeah.
record, Sausage, you know that we are not also like educated. We are not educated on this other than educating ourselves. Like for anything on this podcast, to be honest.
Well,
like
what's his name?
you know,
Wes Germer says it perfectly. It's not like you got one in your garage you can study, right? You just pick up whatever bits and pieces. I love doing it and looking at the similarities in behaviour traits and shit, right? So, where do you? Like a lot of the things that we've had here have been, it's case by case with if it's a fucking good experience or it's a bloody dangerous one. Usually there's a little bit more going around it. Maybe people have come across while they're hunting. Exactly the same as what you guys got over there. You've interrupted a hunt, they get aggressive. You hear about the easy ones where they just have a simple encounter where there's no malice behind it,
Right.
So it's just, but we've got some. So I don't know, Megs, with your what you know about our geographical fucking what we've got in Australia, but pretty much that all the way from the very point of Australia, Cape York, all the way down to pretty well bottom, around South Australia. But it's just this mountain range. It's not huge what you guys got in America, but there is some pretty high points. But it's called the Great Dividing Range, and they generally all these encounters always seem to happen along that. You don't get them in the middle of Australia. You hear nothing of that because it's so barren. And it's like
straight desert.
The middle of Australia
of
is
kilometers.
all
Yeah.
desert, right?
Yeah, it's all desert.
Pretty much once you get over that ridge, it's all desert. And obviously, like any animal, they got to hang around where they got their food supplies and shit. So you don't get much waterways in the middle of Australia. It's a bit, but the thing would have to walk thousands of k's to even get to it. People don't realise how big it is in that middle of Australia.
I think that people, especially Americans, is a majority of our listeners. We do have some, we actually have quite a few in the UK as well, but
Yeah.
I think that majority of our listeners are U.S. and they don't realize how big Australia is. I think in the United States, we do not learn. Yeah, we don't learn a lot about Australia. We know it's the land down under. They have kangaroos and koalas, and their toilets sometimes we think they flush the other way,
And drop bears.
and drop bears.
Kookaburras.
Drop bears,
I know
yeah,
there's
yeah.
kookaburras.
Yeah, the
look
drop
at that
bears.
thing.
But
Yeah.
we don't actually learn a lot about Australia. But so for those of you listening, Australia is basically as big as the United States, and the population is only, for the most part, around the outside. So the middle of Australia is basically uninhabited.
Yeah, it is.
For the most part.
Yeah. And you think as well, you guys have, I don't know what your numbers are of experiences, what people see, but I think we're only running around 26 million people here on the whole all of
Really?
Australia.
Isn't that insane? Yeah.
Really?
That's
Yeah.
why.
Red-
So when I always joke about like if something happens in the United States, we're going to Australia, they'll take us in. Australia is constantly trying to up their population numbers.
I think like the
And
boroughs of New York is like 11 million people.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
they're
I'm
like,
pretty sure
it's-
there's more people in California than there are in Australia.
yeah. Wow. And so they're trying to it's a big issue in Australia, which we were not going to totally get into this, but like them bringing in refugees and like this kind of thing is, it's a big, which it is in any country.
My husband said that he wouldn't go because every animal there is trying to kill you.
False.
No, you just got to be careful though. Like, so where I am,
I survived.
I sent you that picture of that spider the other day, Raina, with the venom hanging off.
I showed
Oh
Meg.
man,
Yeah.
they're killer. So yeah, you got to watch out for shit like that. But I mean, we've just got things that are so toxic here because they don't get a chance, especially in the desert. The more arid and barren it is, the more toxic it is because they got to guarantee 100% kill on a strike, and that's what the problem is. So,
That's true. Yeah.
yeah,
I
but
mean,
the other problem
yeah.
is the big fucking water lizards you get up north here, like the saltwater crocodile. They're mad, them bastards. And then we just get huge great whites down in the southern parts of Australia because
Which is where we're from.
yeah, and I've had
My
a
biggest
fucking massive
fear,
one.
my biggest fear in life is sharks.
Oh,
I
man,
don't know if
yeah.
I could handle it.
Sausage loves sharks. He is a shark man.
I had a great white just quickly around my boat once. So you guys work in feet.
Yeah.
It was a minimum 20 foot. Its rib cage from one side to the other was the girth of my car, and I drive a full drive. That's how wide and fat these things are.
I think I would just cease to exist if I saw something
Yeah.
like that.
Meg
you
is
feel
like,
pretty
no
solid
go on
instant.
the shark.
We're not here about that one. We're not here about that. But yeah, but that's why people get worried about. You just got to watch out. Yeah, there's a lot of venomous shit here. But we don't have any. We really don't have any large carnivore land animals. Like the biggest things, like a dingo.
No, it's the little ones that hide that'll kill you.
I know.
I think when it comes to so for me, I lived in Australia for 7 years. I had kids there. At no point in my life, I did have a few things happen where it was like a snake dropped into our yard and our neighbor told us to get our cats in or whatever. I never got bit by a venomous spider. I don't know anybody who did and almost died. I don't know anyone who got bit by a venomous snake and almost died. All of these things that everyone's afraid of. I know more people who have been shot than I do who actually got bit by something venomous in Australia.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
I'm just saying,
so you don't have to. Yeah, it was like I come to America once and I was bullshitting to some person in a pub saying it was our thank you day because we survived another year without being eaten or bitten by something in Australia. I'm like, wow. It was just when
Wait,
people
you
tell
told
the
someone in
dolphin
America
came out.
that was your thank you day, like our Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
and you're like, because there was another day we didn't get eaten by something?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Sausage,
Gullible.
that's so good.
Yeah.
I will never forget when they were on Texas bachelor party, someone in the elevator was like, so what language do you guys speak there?
Yeah, oh man, yeah. She's like,
No.
yeah. She's like, is that French? And I'm like, does it sound like I'm fucking speaking French? Oh, but you're next to
you're
France,
Austrian?
aren't you? Yeah, and I'm like, no, we're next to New Zealand. That's next to France, isn't it? I just went, fuck, shut up.
Can't you fucking hear me? I sound like I'm white trash English.
Yeah,
Isn't that what it is?
100%.
White
Yeah, pretty good. Well, hey, we come from convicts,
Yeah.
right? So what do you expect? We're
There it is,
founded
yeah.
on criminals. So
Founded on criminals. So before this call, we were doing the Yetis around the world, and
Yes.
Meg's husband actually sent her a message and said, "Ask Reyna what was it? The goon of fortune is."
Goon of fortune.
And I said, I have never heard it that way, but I assume it is where you put a goon bag on a clothesline.
Yep.
Yeah.
a goon bag.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's based like Wheel of Fortune, but with goon bags. You know?
But
what do
what
you call
didn't
that?
you?
And a goon bag is a bag of wine.
Like cast wine shit. Yeah, you just spin it
We call
around.
it a cask or a goon.
I'll take
But wait,
that.
Goon.
sausage. What did you
I'm
guys call it? Where
fine with that.
you guys called it something else though, didn't you?
Fuck, man, we got heaps of names. Like I call it plonk, but
Yeah.
I got it.
But that's why when he said it, I wasn't positive, and then I was like goon of fortune, but I was like,
it's
okay,
goon of fortune, but it's probably the way we say it. Oh, you have a mean game of goon of fortune.
But see, I played that game and I've never heard it called Goon of Fortune. But
Yeah,
when
you'd have to hit
he
Manos
said
up on
it,
that one.
I mean, I figured it out pretty fucking fast. Like I was
Yeah.
like Goon, and then I knew what the game is, so I was like, well, it has to be. She's not dumb. I mean, she
Yeah.
is, but
Well, I mean, it gives you more reason to get over here and fight your sharks and fucking take on a drop bear and, you know,
That
see
I'll
what it's
do.
all about.
the drop bears,
I'll
they'll
do
get
the
you.
drop bear. I will not. You will not see me in the water.
Nah.
All right, so
But
where
yeah,
do we
yeah,
want to
so-
begin?
So,
Sausage.
yeah, well, I mean, I seem to know most about, like, intrigued with, obviously the hairy man, whatever. So we've got places here. So I was saying about on that east coast, like that Great Dividing Range, but then on the west coast, you've also got quite a lot of, and you get a lot, like that's Perth, Western Australia. Other side, so that's literally like the distance from, say, California to New York. That's how far
Oh,
apart
wow.
we're on.
Oh,
So,
yeah, opposite sides
but
of the
then
country. Yep.
in the middle, that's what I'm saying, she's pretty fucking nothing there, right?
Yeah.
But they still seem to get a lot of Yowie sightings over there. But as I kind of said before, of region, there's different characteristics. It's like the ones in California, or like the ones in Pacific Northwest. They seem to be bigger, you know, because probably bigger food supply, maybe they're harsher conditions. You know, they talk about the ones down Florida, they're a bit slimmer or something.
The skunk apes
I'm-
are typically a little bit smaller, like,
Yep.
5 to 6 feet versus 7 to 9 feet.
Yep. And that's what they seem to get a little bit more over in WA. Smaller ones, but then, they literally, I was listening to this encounter someone had, so there was some real mad fires over there, and basically the CFS were like, what do you call them there, Reyna? What's your firemen?
The firefighters. So like CFS.
Yeah, firefighters that were scoping
Yeah.
the highways after the burnt out, like everything had just been burnt out, and they literally said they just saw this. It looked like a short, fat woman, but with really long arms, and it was just standing on the highway next to.
Hey, I take offense to that.
Yeah, well, that's what they said. It was a woman. It looked female, but arms really long, and
She had her
like,
titties out.
We're her
yeah,
yitties
they were
out.
hanging
Her
down a
yitties
bit.
were out.
Apparently, like, there was no uplifts there, but this is how they explain it. They talk about that, but as far as like you don't very rarely, or I haven't heard a lot about it, so I can't, don't take this as gospel. Like I don't hear of massive ones over there. The East Coast, there's some big ones, and there's this one that was in Queensland. It's quite a famous one. I had all this info and lost it, but like it's about this truck driver, and there's a section of road where they've always talked it's spooky kind of thing, like a bit of weird shit goes on, and basically there's a spot where all the truckies pull up and sleep because they run out of hours to drive, but they always say it's haunted, it's this, but it sounds like it's just like yowies. But anyway, this one fella fell asleep, and we've got some massive prime mover trucks here, like what you see your guys drive around in, but their trailers are like 3 times as long, but big trucks. And he woke up
Because they
to the
go
truck
across.
shaking.
It's to get stuff from one side of Australia to the other, and it's like, fucking
Days.
Yeah,
fucking
days.
Thousands of
Our
k's,
friend
thousands
Chewie
of
used-
miles, whatever.
Yeah, Chewie used to do that, right? That's what Chewie used to do.
Chewie, yeah, we used to go from,
Yeah.
do the Nullarbor.
His
There's
name is
nothing.
Chewie because they call him Chewbacca. It got shortened to Chewie. His name is Matthew, just so you know.
And
But
they
yeah,
make sense.
like this guy has woken up to the whole truck rocking, and he's climbed out of his sleeper bunk, and he's put the lights on to find out. He said there was a big red, and it's called Big Red now because people have seen it. This Yowie, and like I can tell you with the work trucks we've got, like the bull bars are probably 6-7 feet above you, like you're up here.
Yeah.
And he said it come up to like barely its chest, this massive thing, and it's just shaking. And so this fella who'd been driving for that many years, he went into he can't drive anymore. He has panic attacks, and he just got.
I think that's the thing, and we talk about this a lot on the podcast, which I know that you hear, is that it is always like those big burly men who are the people who would never normally admit to seeing things like this because they know they're going to get made fun of. They know that it's going to be something that's going to be a thing if they say it, but then when they're like, but this fucking happened and it fucked me up like this, and now I'm not okay anymore. Like this is,
Look, I don't know, and everyone talks about like Australians are pretty laid back. Like I hear like what happens when your guys over there have encounters and people can be ruined. Like they're afraid to say anything because they get laughed at that hard.
Yep.
Here you just they people just roll their eyes and whatever. I don't fucking believe you. And it's just
Yeah.
what it is. But
it is much more of a laid-back culture when it does come to that kind of thing. I feel like it's more accepted to be a believer of it than it is here, where like here you're definitely like bit cray-cray.
Yeah. That's
You might
so, like,
you might be a lunatic, if you will.
A lunatic.
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, we're at the right place, aren't we? So.
We sure are.
But yeah, it's like, as far as cultures and all that go here, like there's rock paintings from,
I was gonna ask that.
30,000 years ago, and on there they've got like hairy man. Like we've got some of the oldest cult-like paintings, because some of the land of Australia they believe is like the oldest on the planet or some shit.
Yeah.
Like it didn't say it was inhabited with people that whole time, but we've got carvings and rock paintings that go back 20, 50,000 years, and they have drawings of big hairy men. So, I mean, fucking back then, where are they getting them their ideas from? They drew what they saw.
Right.
They drew what they saw. So do you think that there's this theory here that we've talked about where a Bigfoot isn't necessarily a creature of the land, but maybe more of an interdimensional traveler?
I was about to ask that. I was like, I want to know your theory. I want to know what you think about.
I still can't explain it, and I could babble on like.
Go for it. You're on the right place. You were amongst friends, sausage.
I hear every story I hear. I put in. I think about the same characteristics that's happened in other stories, but then there's just something that fucking throws it out. Like you get some experiences where it's acting completely as an animal, an apex predator. But then you get these other ones which happens here, they talk about mind speak and shit, So I kind of, you go down that path and you're like, well, is it like what people talk about? It's a part of evolution, but they went off and they just did their own shit, But then, like, people talk about they fucking then see portals open, or they can just vanish straight away like the predator does, and I kind of think into that, well, is there something in their hair that when it shines, it fucking creates a... because they're hairy, is there something like that where put the right reflection on it, it can make it fucking see-through? Like
a cloaking device type
100%.
thing.
And is that
I've never
purely
even thought
for
about
the
that.
hunting thing that they do, or is there something more to it? Like I said, do they walk through something that's from a different fucking realm? You don't know. But I personally think, like, there's too much. I honestly think that they're just a flesh and blood creature that has just gone so far beyond our comprehension of what they can do to hide from us. Their abilities seem to outweigh realistic, like, physics. Like you see how quick these things can move. Like, and you go, right, well, they got a lot of fast twitch muscle fibers, but fucking, like, for them to be here and there quicker than a cheetah in some places, you know what people talk about. So it's like, how the fuck do they do it? Because they're running on two legs. They don't have four legs for that extra speed. They're going on two legs. Sometimes they're down on their arms doing it, whatever. But still, it's a quick. They're. I can go one day saying, nah, these things from a different dimension. The next day I'm going, nah, they're a fucking flesh and blood creature that's just.
Yeah. Throughout the world, like, obviously every culture has some sort of Bigfoot creature. That's what folklore kind of, all of them have it, which is fascinating because there are people from Europe that never knew Australia existed, or from Asia that never knew the Americas existed, and they're still the same creature. Could it be that this creature has, like, some that we just went through in, like, Europe, or like the wild man that didn't evolve, that are still kind of have those Neanderthal characteristics? Or could it be that this creature has evolved so much beyond human capacity that they have these other characteristics that they can camouflage so much better? They can go quicker than any other bipedal being that we know of.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Like, is it not evolved or more evolved?
Once again, like, I think we chose to enhance through technology, right?
Yeah.
Like, they have gone and enhanced through their biological means, I guess. Like, I just think that they decided to stick to what they do, like, well hidden, but they are just the absolute fucking master of what the fuck. Like, they talk about humans, we only use X amount % of our brain.
Right.
I mean, who's to say they're not doing more, and that's why they've got that more capability, but they just haven't gone down that path where we're, building a phone or a fucking car, like they've gone purely within themselves to evolve better.
Do you think they're related to humans? Like, Do you think that they
Once
are?
again, I think it's a case by case. You talk to people about when they sometimes seem like same over there. You know, we have people that when they describe them, they openly say it looks like the old primitive Aboriginal looking person. But then,
Right.
you know, and then you talk to someone else and it's like, nah, fuck it, it was an ape. You know, like it had no human. But then they talk about the eyes. The eyes were fucking human. You know, but then you talk to someone else and they go, their eyes were pure black. Like, I just think, as again, each one comes out, whatever, born, whatever the hell happens, they go down their own path. And yeah, I mean, I could just keep banging on, but there's so many different variations of them, I think. You know?
Well, I think it's the cool part about, like, what is Bigfoot, the Yowie, the Yeti, all the things, is that there's so many different versions of it that and so many stories from like years, or not years, centuries, forever, that it is like millennia. Yeah, we don't know, and that's why it's so hard for people who are believers to like pinpoint something and be like, it's definitely that, because even for me, like, I believe they're interdimensional beings, but then listening to what you're saying makes me be like, damn, well, what, like, when you say, okay, they've used the other part of their brains that like we never access, like, you think about that, and that's wild.
What about going through the extraterrestrial route?
Yeah, but yes, well, that's it. But if you talk to me about extraterrestrials, like, I either think they're coming from fucking something's on down Antarctica, there's something on the moon, but I don't believe that they're coming from 100 light years away, because fucking you have to be travelling 100 years at light speed to get here. And what do we know is the fastest route? That's light speed, right? Nothing faster than that. So you're sitting there for fucking 100 years doing that just to have a look at something. Nah, like, I think interdimensional. I reckon there's shit going on.
Did you listen to our Antarctica episode?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So you've heard all of the things.
There's something going on there, man.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
So I never knew anything pretty much about it until we did that episode. And after I heard that, I think that was the first time that I was like, this makes the most sense to me about everything. Like, that to me was like, I was like, something's going on.
I like the theory that Antarctica is like this airport, if you will. Yeah. For it's a landing spot for, I don't know, is it extraterrestrials? Is it outer worldly? Is it other dimensions? Is it
what's going on? But also, are they bringing them across, dropping these fucking hairy apes on, you know? And then straight away, if that has been proven, well, then are these creatures actually from planet Earth? We don't know. Like, you know, like, it's just fucking, man.
Then if
you go deep into that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
No, that's it. You can, and the rabbit holes go so deep, and you can go down so many with this, which is what will just like fuck you up.
And look at if you go to like our Dyatlov episode, we talk about the Soviets and their involvement, and they have a history with the Yeti, or, you know, that whole thing. And so what do they bring to the table? Because now they're using it to weaponize.
I think when I see, you know, obviously there's videos and shit always coming out of people saying we got Sasquatch or whatever. Fuck, I look at I love seeing the ones coming from Russia, Ukraine, whatever it is, because they've got some of the best footage, man. Like, you would have seen that one where you can't understand what they're carrying on about, but you see it jump over that fucking log. Have you seen that?
I've seen it.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, it's really good. Yeah. They're just like,
God, what would I Google? Like, what, Yeti jumping over a log in Russia?
The sheer arms on it is like that typical 20% longer than what they say, like an ape fucking arm, right? You know, like, I look at them ones because, you know, everyone can, especially this AI now, that's only going to make things harder to debunk, because everything can be everything can look fake. Look real but be fake. They can make it to look fake because it is fake. That one's very compelling, I reckon. But also,
if you find that, you have to send it, because I don't.
I will. Yeah.
I just all of a sudden I'm like,
you guys got about a year or two ago, and it's a fella, and he's standing on the wood lines. He's standing out in the backyard, and he's filming that fucking. But his camera's really blurry, and he's like, you can see that, right? You can see that, and it's a Sasquatch. And you go, oh, it could be a man in a suit. But then you see it lift its arm out to grab a tree. And its arm looked like it was 6 foot long.
Yes. Yeah.
That one is good.
Hang on, I think I found the jumping over the log one. Wait, is that it? Do you think that's it?
Yep, when they break that down and they see what it's hunched, it jumps, its arms are out wide, you can see how long its arms are.
Yep. Like, what? How do you explain that? That is a
No.
big fucking thing.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
is a big thing.
Bullshit. Look at its arms move out and bend and do its things. And people talk about how they've got like hands like fucking baseball mitts. You look at that when they zoom. What's his name? Bloody bloke that does the debunking does a fantastic job in America. And he Thinker Thunker. What is that?
I don't know who that is. I don't. I haven't seen that.
He looks up and like he uses his computer.
You see that?
Programs to look at shit and do like measurements, real life measurements, and it just goes far beyond a human.
Well, yeah, I think the good thing is now like AI detectors are out there, and so a lot of things can detect when it's AI to the point where it's happening on social media. Like I had a photo flagged in my photography for AI because Photoshop. Yeah, because Photoshop has this thing where if you crop something, it will AI generate the edges. So like, let's say I cropped the image and it's like, oh, we'll make the grass longer to make sure the image is straight and it gives you what it is. And that's all it is. And it came up as AI flagged. And I was like, I didn't fucking AI that photo, but that is considered AI. So even Instagram is flagging that shit. It is. It's great. So I do feel like there's enough things that I hope AI doesn't like ruin this kind of shit because that is definitely, I think, a fear for anybody who is a believer of this.
I'm the first one to kind of, as soon as something goes out in there, like for me, I'm just like, Ash is like, get off your phone. I'm like, nah, man, there's some new Sasquatch footage someone's released. And I'm like, I don't add enough. And trust me, I want it all to be real, but the problem is you got to have that. Otherwise, you fucking believe anything, right? And a lot of it, there are people out there.
You're the best kind of person for this because we're the same. We all want to believe it right away. We all want it to be real. We want the first initial thing to be like, that's what it was. I saw a ghost. I saw this. It was Bigfoot. But like, you have to analyze it, and you're an irresponsible believer if you don't.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
You got to put your pride or whatever to the side.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
What's that, sorry?
Have you ever had a first-hand experience or known somebody who's had a first-hand experience?
I have had something happen, yes.
Okay.
It wasn't a visual, it was an audio.
Okay.
Right? So I go up to far north Queensland every year, and we usually get these cabins. And it's a beautiful rainforest range. It's called Crystal Cascades, just out of Cairns. We get this bloody cabin, and anyway, I was sitting there one night. Ash and the kids had gone to bed, and I'm sitting there because I just fucking love it, man. You know, like there's a freshwater creek running there. It's like just beautiful, and then it's just tropics, you know. Anyway, these dogs were all barking, you know, and it's between valleys because, you know, like I said, it's just like it's so fucking. There's not many people there, so it's not like it's house to house to house. It's very national park, conservation park still. I was sitting outside and I heard, and once again in Australia we don't have big land animals, right? So the biggest thing you're going to find up there would either be a cassowary or a fucking pig. So we've got a heap of wild pigs.
The fuck is a cassowary?
Yeah,
I don't even know what that is.
Google it, man. It looks like a fucking dinosaur. It's like the third biggest bird in the world.
A bird?
Yeah. It's like an emu looking thing.
How do you spell it?
And they're violent.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it looks like an emu.
Yeah, but
Emu.
blue,
I know what that
and they've got that.
is.
See the big
Oh,
hard bone.
yeah. Okay, I know what they are.
Yeah, they're pains in the ass.
Yeah.
They'll chase you down and
They're fucking scary.
Just
Yeah,
empower you.
they're like a goddamn pterodactyl, but they don't fly.
yes, it's magnificent.
Just run.
But anyway, yeah. So like, it's you basically got that, a kangaroo or a pig. You know, I sitting out there and I specifically fucking heard, and I tried. I can't do it because my chest cavity isn't big enough, but I heard this, what, like that, but like deep and fucking.
But you have this recorded, don't you?
No, I don't.
Oh, I thought you did for some reason.
I didn't expect it, man.
I know. I thought you recorded. I thought for some reason you had recorded it, and I was about to be like,
I wish.
done that.
I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then it was just like, whoa. And the dog stopped barking. Everything stopped barking. And it just went like dead quiet. And I'm talking like range to range, it'd be fucking 5-10 kilometres. But it was up high. It was like, whoa. And I'm like, holy shit. You know, people like Bigfoot on the brain, whatever, you know, like you straight away go. But I was like, fuck, man, there's nothing that makes it sound like this. And I went in and I like waking Ash up, and Ash isn't a believer of this shit, so she's just like, ugh. I said, you gotta get out here and fucking listen to this. Get out here. And she's like, oh my God, if you're dragging me outside to try and think I'm going to hear a fucking yowie. And I'm like, please. Anyway, I got her out there. Sure enough, she's listening for a few minutes. Nothing fucking happened. I'm like, I'm promising you. She goes, you just heard a dog. I'm like, this sounded primate, but like a chest cavity of fucking like the...
Yeah.
Whoa. Like it rattled,
like the
man.
deep, the guttural deep. Yep. Like there's a difference.
Deep,
yeah.
Guttural, but it wasn't a roar. It was like W-A-A, like whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Not a bird, because like I said, the fucking sheer girth of it sounded.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets better. I went straight away, right, I got to report this. So I fucking got on like I sent you a link, Reyna, of the Yowie research organisation.
Yes.
It's really good because you can select the state and they've got every recordable Yowie thing. So I sent you that. Anyway, I rang them, or I got in touch with them, and the next day, and they said there were 3 other people within that region also reported it that night as well. An odd sound.
That
loud,
is cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, you've got that. So that's where, like, I know you like to do the research, and Meg, so I should have fucking sent it to you. I should get you on my Facebook.
Well, yeah, you got a friend. Well, Meg's not on Facebook,
I'm
Sausage,
not.
so
anti-Facebook.
she's anti-Facebook. So you gotta find. Well,
Whatever,
you're on Instagram.
yeah.
Find me on Instagram and send me all the shit. It's I'm not going to say my Instagram right now. I'll find you.
So like there's in Queensland, because a lot of the places I work is in that Great Dividing Range, and there's been experiences, and some of them are like, I know the ranges, and it's beautiful. Like it's like it is high dense.
This is
bushland.
cool, Sausage. This is fun.
Man.
Meg's gonna like have a field day with that shit.
Really
She fucking will. Yep.
I love that you know that I'm not the researcher, Porridge. That it is
I
me.
know.
I am
well,
not.
You make it pretty clear. You can tell where the brains are in this duo. I'm sorry, mate.
Hey.
Yeah.
She has some brains. They're sprinkled. Also, we all have our talents. Mine happen to be social media and bullshit.
I know. It's pretty. Well, I have a laugh. So like when I'm driving between these ranges and there's no like fucking reception, that's why I download your episodes. And then when you come on, you just go like, yeah, fuck this shit, fucking bullshit. I'm not fucking doing that. Like, yes,
but also,
Reyna,
like,
I needed that.
Sausage,
good.
you know me, so like, how accurate is that? You're like,
very much.
there's Reyna.
Yep.
Man, this is
when you just put your
fascinating.
2 little bob in, and you're talking about a fucking ghost that sits there and fucking stands over you at night, and you're just like, no, fuck that shit.
Okay, that happened to me last night, though. I'm not joking,
Did
you
it?
guys. So I honestly, I want to talk to you about this because
It's the season.
No,
I'm telling
okay,
you right
but
now,
this
it's
is the part
season.
that fucked me up. And so you haven't heard this episode yet, Sausage, but we are going to air an episode where we watched a documentary, and it's called The Unbinding. And
So good.
it was
Unbinding,
insane.
yeah, right.
Okay, and so if it was on Amazon Prime, so will you get Amazon Prime there, like, to watch
It's
stuff?
free. It's free on
Yeah.
Tubi right now.
But basically there was this, like, the statue that was haunted by something. At the end of the day, it comes out to be something else, but a big part of it was hearing, like, river creek noises. That is not something in my life that I have ever heard anywhere ever. River creek noises, like hearing, like, water rushing, hearing that.
Water running.
Last night, I could not stop hearing it to the point where I got out of bed, went into my bathroom, and I was like, is a faucet running? Is that running? I was on my side. I had just started falling asleep, and I heard something come up behind me, and I thought it was Jandis, our dog, and it felt like she rested her, like, chin on our bed, and it, like, poked my butt because I was laying this way, and so I immediately turned, and no one was there, but I could not stop hearing this
Rushing water.
and it wasn't rushing. It was like a babbling creek sound. Meg, it freaked me the fuck out so bad. And I was waiting for us to record today to tell you this but it fucked me up last night. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. but now I'm fucked up from watching that fucking Unbinding, and I'm like, when you have to watch this. You need to see if you can watch this, and then you'll be like,
I have a couple thoughts.
Now, man. What are your thoughts on? You know, they reckon like around rivers and shit. There's a lot of energy.
Well, I think that's exactly what it is. The rushing water, the constant movement, there's going to be energy involved. And that water comes from somewhere. So it could come from the other side of the world. It could pick up something from over there, and now it's here.
Yeah, water is like, I mean, we're made of mostly water. Water is super, affected by energy in general, but also so are rocks. And you think about a river, a riverbed, all of that, like, there are, like, so many things that can record energy. I feel like it's the combination of the two. It's why
I also think it's the time of year. The veil between worlds is extremely thin.
Question. Obviously, you know, we're in October now. You guys have got your Halloween. Do you seem to think things park up there a bit because, like,
1,000%,
you know, it's being talked about, it's being it creates its energy. You know, like, you know, people, like, they talk about certain things and it's like you're giving it energy by talking about it. Do you think there's any, like, connection there, or you reckon this time of year is just a fucked up time?
Well, so I think it's a combination. I think that there is, no matter what, the veil is thinner because it for millennia, for however long, has been like the seasons carry these things. But then it is also hyped up. This is anything. It's like going to a haunted house. It's going to anywhere. Like when you put energy into it, it manifests at the end of the day. So there is that as well.
Well, and it's also it's that time of year for you guys. It's more like Ostera, Beltane. For us, it's Mabon, Samhain, and it's the same type of energy. It's just flipped.
Yeah, you guys are going into your spring.
When you say like less over here, more over there, or fucking.
No, it's the same. It's just it's a different time of year. So it's the same. Okay. It's the same. The veil is just thinner. These types of years.
But I see what you're saying though, Sausage. Where you're saying in general, like, because we, especially in America compared to anywhere else, like Halloween is big. Like we're all into shit. Like we all want to see it. A lot of
energy goes into it.
Yeah, a lot of energy goes into it, and when you put energy into something, it's gonna come back. In some way or another.
I mean, that's fair. That's a fair point. But like, I also think it has something to do with just the seasons.
Oh, yeah, 1,000%. The season. I think the seasons are like the core of it. At the end of the day, that's the beginning of it. That was, no matter what, we all are going to experience things when these changes happen. And that, like you're saying, Beltane, Samhain, whatever.
Samhain and Beltane.
Whatever you're saying. But, you know, you say it better than I do. But, so all of that's going to happen. But I do feel like, you know, the spookiness of Halloween, we all put the spooky thoughts and the spooky vibes into it. So, of course,
I see what you're saying.
Some things are going to be a little more spookier. And also, like, maybe it also invites things that normally wouldn't be invited because of that.
Because what I've kind of picked up with you, Megs, you're kind of into that fucking, like the planet or the moon phase and shit, eh? Like, is that his run off that, or is...
I like the pagan wheel of the year, which is the seasons changing and going through the rotation of the earth. That's where I find the most energy and the most resonating truths.
Well, you know what? If you do come across here, the very next town over, there's a big following of paganists in the next town over.
Hondorf?
No,
Where?
Mylor.
Oh, really?
Yep, and they go out to the fucking bushland, they have these weird fires and do all this weird shit.
I'm down. As long as we don't have to get naked, I'm down.
A big following of it.
So. That's in Australia. There's no guarantees you're not going to have to get naked. Just kidding.
So I do have more questions. So you're into, like, you know a lot about Bigfoot, you know a lot about cryptids, and we talked briefly on paganism and kind of the other metaphysical world. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on
the ghosties porridge?
The ghosties. And not just that, just like having it be a part of your life. I'm sure you've gathered that I live my life a certain way and I believe in a certain way. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, now I went to a Lutheran secondary school, so it was rammed down my throat there at the start, like, you know, fucking God and whatever, but...
I mean,
You know,
I was raised Mormon, so...
Yeah, you get it, right? So I kind of got a bit funny about it when they were trying to fucking tell me that a T-Rex was walking through the Garden of Eden and eating apples, right? You know, so I was like, fuck. And I got kicked out of class because I kind of said, man, what's this shit? You know.
Hey, Porridge, I got kicked out of Sunday school too because I asked why.
Yeah.
I was like, why is God telling everyone to go kill everyone, but you're not supposed to
Now-
kill people? And they literally kicked me out into the hallway.
Oh, man.
I'm not going
Us
to say that I
degenerates.
don't. There's definitely something beyond it, right? And as far as ghosts and all that, like this is where it kind of gets a bit funny for me. Where why is it if there's an evil entity, something that's going on, and even like when people have little greys, like you know your fucking UFO people talk about a lot. What is the power behind when they start doing a prayer? Why is like a lot of these times you hear of people like I started doing a verse of whatever, and it did not like it. It wanted nothing to do with it. I'm not saying there's God or anything, but you know there's got to be something. But you got to look into that, like saying the name Jesus when something evil is there, and why does that have power?
Could it be intention?
I mean, I've wondered that a lot because even like the unbinding thing that we watched when whatever happened to the crucifix that was on the wall, and I thought the same thing. Like,
It could be representation.
yeah, what it represents at the end of the day, I don't know.
Yeah, so you're a representation of pure good, you know?
Yeah.
So, but then also that means that there is something that's pure good, there is something that's pure evil. What is the image of what this pure good is? You know, like was it Jesus? Was it God? You know, to me, it's almost like I get a bit thrown off because then fucking if everything was so good, why does bad things happen to, you know, like say young kids or fucking the best type of people?
But I feel like I don't know, as people who believe in the other side or believe in maybe not like what modern day religion is because we know that there's a balance of everything.
Somewhere,
like,
it's
coming from somewhere, but it can't be all good. You have to. There's a balance of everything at the end of the day, and there's not.
100%,
If there
100%.
truly was something that was protecting all of us, it would protect all of us. But that's not a thing.
Yeah, it is odd. I always find difference between. I think it's interesting when you've got two different hauntings, right? And you know, one is what is it? It's what's the word? Where there's no intelligence behind it. It's like an energy
residual energy.
Residual hauntings.
and non-residual, right? So, you know, is that just an energy thing, just relapsing? But what the fuck's that about? But then you've got these things where people have an absolute full-blown encounter. Like I had one day, and it was odd where I literally I wanted to see something, and I'd been diving into it. I'm like, fucking, why does people see it and I don't? And I'm the one who wants to see. Woke up middle of summer and it was freezing fucking cold in my room. But we lived in this little cottage and the aircon didn't work. Well, it didn't do a very good job.
Yeah.
So it was usually hot in the bedroom. But I woke up and it was fucking freezing, breathing steam. And I looked across and my eyes, I was looking at this thing for probably half a minute and it was a figure of a man in my doorway. And
Where was
I
this?
was paralysed. You know that little cottage I used to live in? Just next to Mum and Dad's? Yeah, in there. So it's not an old place. But I think it
doesn't matter. Yeah,
but yeah, man, like, and I could never explain when I was telling people about it. And I could never quite explain how it disappeared. Like I tried, but no one understood until Avengers, Infinity Wars come out, and when Thanos snaps his fingers and people just turned into dust. Yeah, because that's what happened. It looked like that. It just went into nothing. All of a sudden, my room was warm, and I was like, "What the fuck?" You know.
Can you describe what this spirit or entity looked like?
Yep. It was about 6 foot tall. Just looked like a man, like a standard fucking man, just standing in the door.
But were you seeing it with like all of its features, or was it like a shadow figure, like all black, white?
It was. Like you couldn't see eyes. It was almost like when you get static on your TV, like the kind of thing. Yeah, but darker. It looked like that.
A shadow figure.
Yeah, I think that's what I would call it, a shadow figure.
It wasn't blacker than the thing. It was blacker than what my room was. But say it was a bright moon night, it wasn't like completely pitch black. But it was like a really, really dark greyish black, but like static almost. And then
So you've had paranormal encounters in multiple ways. You've had the cryptid.
Yeah.
I don't even drink beer. I want to have a beer in real life and talk about
my
this
God.
stuff like forever.
Yeah.
We need to get Meg to the Achunga pub, and then she's got to sit down there and have a good old time.
Well, there's a fucking new barfly in town, and his name's Danny Munn. That is his office of work, let me tell you.
Why am I not shocked that Danny Munn lives at the
man,
Achunga
you
pub?
fucking idiot.
Why am I
But
not shocked
anyway.
by this?
Yeah, but once again, that's just how people want to, you know, if you're worried, and you know, it is what it is. People don't want to be recognised as fucking, you know, laughed at or whatever, but I mean, for me, it doesn't bother me, sticks and stones, you know. But
which I do
like
appreciate
telling
that
people.
about you, that because you've always been diehard Sasquatch. Like, he came over here to visit us, and he's like, "Let's go." You know, this, I've always believed in Bigfoot, and like, this has never been something that was never like something I didn't believe in. But I've never been like big into it until we started doing the podcast, and then it, you know, it's.
Well, I
I'm
love
a
that
part of
story
it.
that you
You
talk
love
about
it.
at your cabin, man, where your
In
auntie
Canada,
saw
yeah,
the
Polton
figure
Bay.
across me,
I'm
you know, like-
dying.
And, like-
you come up here.
You
and
get
then
here, and we're all
we
going to
all
Polton
go
Bay.
to Polton Bay.
Bill's going this
Oh,
weekend,
right.
Sausage. We could just, you know, go up there.
I'm
You're
dark
gonna
at
have
Bill.
to get on a flight like now.
I know, right? Oh, fucking hell! They gotta figure that shit out. It's so expensive to come across on a flight.
shit.
Like,
Sir,
how many
yeah.
times have I been to America, Reyna? 4 times or some shit.
Yeah, you've been in here a
And
few times.
It's ranged.
He came
from,
over. He visited me in college. He
Yeah.
came for our wedding. Came for you did one other time, I think, and then
Yeah,
also
well, I did that one with Chewy. Then I come for your wedding, and then I've come back. Oh, it's, when I brought Jack over and come and stay to you. And
yeah, that's
when,
3. Yeah, there it is.
Sorry,
yeah.
3. Yeah, so I went up to Harrison Hot Springs. Have you heard of Harrison Hot Springs? Like, so me and Manos, when we were staying with them guys, I said, "Oh fuck it, I'll get out of your house for a few days, and let's just go.
Yeah,
I'm just going to look
forgot
at something
about
in Canada that was in a few hours." When Dugon used to work up top there in that room that we were
Yes,
staying at.
yeah.
Anyway, we just went on a map and just went fucking bang, that one. It was called Harrison Hot Springs. Anyway, I said to Ash, we're going to go across the border. And it was beautiful in the Rocky Mountains. And as we're driving in, there's like a fucking wooden thing of a Sasquatch. And Ash just looked at me and she's like, "You fucking chose this place." I said, I had no
I
idea.
recall
had no
this,
idea.
actually. I do recall
And,
this.
and she still reckons I fucking, you know, I picked it purposely. But it turns out there was, and I didn't even know, there's like a museum there. I never went to it because I didn't know. And
Yeah.
we went up to this national park, and it's called like Sasquatch Province Park or some shit. Yeah.
Sasquatch.
And it's not that far away.
What?
Yeah, so look, if you Google Sasquatch Province Park or something, Harrison Hot Springs, you'll see it. It's
Okay,
beautiful.
but Sausage, Bill's friend, who he works with, he has invited us out squatching. He has a group of people that he goes squatching with. So when you come over to visit the
beautiful
next
that
time,
is. Oh my
no, I
God.
remember them visiting. It was insane.
How the fuck
like-
do you not know about that?
I'm not from around here.
Yeah, she's from the
okay,
other
right,
side of the country, you know. But when
Yes.
if you come over, like, we will make it work so that we go squatching with this guy. Like, we'll go squatching, and because you've always said let's go squatching, and I'm like, yeah,
man.
I
No.
will go squatching.
What's Billy Boy's thought on it?
Same as us. He's very like Bill believes it.
Bill believes
Open
it.
to
Yeah.
Fully
it.
believes
So
it,
his mate
yeah.
that's seen, so his mate's seen some shit.
Oh, his mate
so.
goes squatching. His mate
Oh, yeah.
is like, he's friends with the guy, like, in some capacity with that old ass Bigfoot video, whatever whoever he is, I can't remember. But like he's very much a part of it. And we're supposed to have him on the podcast, but I'm a terrible person and we haven't done it yet.
Yeah, right.
Just because,
Well, I
life's
tell you
good,
what,
but-
I should
The Patterson Gimlin
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Oh right, yeah, how good.
Yeah,
I love
like
the
no,
fact
like
that
that,
it's
like
trying to
OG,
do some of that shit,
yeah.
eh?
I will
It-
not sleep in a tent. I hate camping with a passion.
You're a clamper.
But no, I won't even do. I want a hotel room.
Oh,
I
right.
love hiking. I love being out in nature. I want a bed at night.
Yep.
But for this, I will sleep in a tent.
You do it.
I will sleep in
I'm
a tent
only doing
for
it if I
this.
sleep between Sausage and Tex.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Sausage and Meg. I can't even
Yeah,
protect
you'd be.
here.
You can
You're too
sleep
much
in
of a
between
little
me,
snack, right? I
but
don't need
like,
something
or
to
with me.
fucking-
But like, I need both of them on either side because they're big fucking dudes, and they might protect me.
No, I don't like people.
Also-
I want to sleep on my own.
But
Give me my own
Sausage,
tent.
do you know who else is obsessed with this shit? Is Jenna's husband. Rupert. Who
Really?
was like,
The dolphin
yes,
trainer?
And now, what?
Didn't he? Was he a dolphin trainer
No.
at SeaWorld? Did he work at
He worked at SeaWorld, but he wasn't a dolphin trainer. He
okay, I thought he was a dolphin trainer.
worked mechanics on the tanks.
I'm gonna call him the dolphin trainer from now on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell him that you guys think he's a dolphin trainer. That's the best thing in my life. Like Ace Ventura training the dolphins.
Yep.
No, he worked at SeaWorld. He worked so now he does God, what does he do? Like HVAC or something? But so he worked on he's mechanic, worked on the tanks and stuff. So he worked at SeaWorld. But he at one point looked very similar to a dentist who had to go in and see a walrus. And so they dressed him up as a dentist to get the walrus used to what the dentist was going to look like when he actually had to go in to see the dentist, or when the dentist actually came. So we call him like how we call Dugong or Tom or Tex or whatever the fuck his name is.
Okay, continue. Then I
But
have a
so
question.
we call him the walrus, and Tex is like the sea
Yeah,
manatee,
how
the
cool.
dugong, whatever.
So that doesn't look like he's tall, eh? I was going to say he looks pretty fucking.
Yeah, he's
like
as tall as Jenna, and he's nicest guy. Really good guy. He's quiet.
Yeah,
but
Danny
you would have a
spoke
good
highly of him.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. We love him.
What's your name?
No, I'm just what is my name in Australia? I'm Rayner,
Nah, fuck
Rainy.
all, you just Rayner. Because you guys
Rayner.
emphasise your E's and your R's so much. And
I'm
if you want to
Rayner.
learn our language, you just drop the R. Anything you say, we barely say R's.
But
So,
also,
remember.
So I will
Aina?
say that girls don't often get the nicknames that guys do. Like guys definitely
that's
get
a
more
little
nicknamey,
sexist.
don't you think?
Nah.
Do you agree with
well,
that?
It depends. See, me and my brother called my sister fat bum chook legs as a kid. And I think
Poor
You wanna-
kid.
you wanna-
Okay, what is the last questions we want to discuss? Sausage, honestly, this has been so much fun because you realize this is going to have to happen again because
I think
Oh,
you
yeah.
should
this
be-
was tip of the iceberg. I feel like this
Yeah,
is
it
tip
is,
of the
man.
iceberg of all the
I'm
shit.
really
And
hoping. Yeah.
So-
Because I'd love to do a bit more discussion into fucking say ice rings and the Antarctic. That shit.
Yes,
you
I
guys-
was
we
just going to
would
say that
love
actually.
that.
I feel like so here we have my childhood friend Jeff Baz, who we've been dying to get on the show, and he goes into all the conspiracies and things like that. And I feel like you should be our down under correspondent.
if you will.
Yeah.
Like, you don't
Oh,
need to
of
come
course.
on all the time. Like, once every, 4 months, we'll get Sausage on for
Yeah,
an
man.
hour. And
Fucking oath.
Every
I
quarter.
get because I want to know. I was going to ask you guys as far as you guys are starting to interview a few people and all that.
yeah.
Have you heard of Believe Paranormal Podcast by Cade Moyer? Believe. He's
Believe.
like our main guy in Australia, and you should listen to some of his podcasts.
Okay.
People ring up talking about demonic things or fucking their dogmen experience down here because we still get dogmen. Yowies and
I
cool
got
shit
him.
like that. And another guy you ever want to fucking see if you can get on the show, and if you could get him on the show, his name is Brad Kidd, and he goes out walking, and he's one of these guys that seems to have a connection with the things, and he'll
Brad.
take
Okay.
photos of him walking and just snap photos as he's walking behind, and sometimes you see a head of a dog man sticking its head out the bush, and what's that paraphilia? Is it paraphilia where people think you make an image that
Yeah.
wasn't there? But some of this
Yeah.
shit that he gets is witches, fucking you got to look him up. Brad Kidd videos, and I think it's KIDD. He's got a crazy witch video. This dark-haired woman in this forest, because he just walks through. He must be far north Queensland or some shit. And it's
Is
just
it-
this woman in white, and it starts following him, but she shouldn't be there. It's
No, I'm
dense.
getting a professional shooter. Okay, interesting. Dogman Brad Kidd. Here we go.
Oh.
That Cade fella, he's probably our number one paranormal podcast fella down here, and he'll do anything from the Min Min lights. You guys heard of Min Min lights? They're just these UFO fucking looking
Okay.
things that you get in the Outback. I've had a friend that's seen them, but he doesn't believe in them, but he thought it was a flash of light that was coming from a truck bouncing off something in a highway, but then it went straight up into the sky.
Do you have any UFO
yeah.
encounters, extraterrestrial, anything like that?
Nah, I don't know what I saw once. It was like a daylight thing, but it was brown. and I was playing at the Jungle Golf Course, Reyna.
Yeah.
And it was like fucking 11 o'clock in the morning, and I was playing like with a couple of boys, and I teed off, and I've turned around to show them something, and then there was this brown. Oh, it was fucking pretty big, but it would have been like the size of a car, and it was just cruising across, but it was really round, and it just fucking went off like that. But I'm yelling at the guys, but I was like, say, 300 yards away, and I'm like, turn around and look at that. And they're just like, what? And by the time that they were like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, there was a fucking thing floating above you, and then it just shot off.
Here's the thing. I think what Meg needs to come to Australia and see how, like, you guys aren't, like, insanely remote, but, like, the amount of shit that I feel like is in Echunga or those areas, or, like, the amount of things that I feel like if I was tapped into what I am now when I was living there, to see, like, UFOs and, like, that kind of shit, like, God, I feel like there'd be so much there.
You know, like, our history of this town, like, our town was built on gold rush, right? So there are a lot of deaths out here. A lot of shit's gone out in our scrubland where it's all still full of gold. It's shunt off to the rest of what we can get to, because that scrubland is our main water source for all of Adelaide. And so it's a conservation park where it's heavily, there's police training camps in there, so it's pretty protected. But it's literally in the guts of old fucking mine shaft. A lot of people were murdered, died.
You have a lot of residual energy in your area.
Energy out there, yeah.
Like the butcher here, if you look through the old Echunga history book, and it's like one of Ash's mates lives there, and like it was a butcher, but it was also held as like the morgue, like because they had like
where?
A freezer.
What butcher?
That little cottage right next to the general store, and there's a tiny little cottage next to the general store.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, that was a butcher, and it was acted as a morgue too.
So
and
what's funny is also like
there reckon they've had some fucking weird shit, that so much that they got a paranormal team there, but the paranormal team only did one night and didn't get anything. But they're like,
so that doesn't mean anything. Like, even to the point. So Tom, growing up, they used to live on High Street, and that house talked about digging stuff up, and they found like graves.
Yeah, they had open tombstones still in their backyard. I used to be like,
in their back where he used to live. So like that's like his mom was telling me this shit. He had paranormal experiences his whole life. He just won't admit it.
He had shit. I remember him telling me like this man was in his room one night, and
he won't admit that shit, sausage.
Greg Edmonds reckons he saw some weird shit there once. He told me.
And Greg Edmonds is the biggest non-believer of this shit, too.
Yeah, but he reckons he saw a person in his... Because it was a slate lounge room or some shit. I remember it. And he was telling me, and it was fucking years ago, he's like, I saw someone in my house once. But I didn't... But, like, it was...
Interesting.
It had to have been a ghost. It had to have been... But it was open... But also... tombstones in the backyard. Like, they didn't dig it up.
Like, and that's like open tombstones, open things in the backyard. They've discussed that.
What do you mean by open tombstones?
No, like, they didn't dig up a tombstone. These things, it's like a proper fucking tombstone in the backyard. There was a couple of them.
Like, they would dig down and then they'd find two tombstones. So they'd dig and they were there.
There were two that were still standing in the backyard.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. Because I used to go there as a kid, and I'm like, I didn't want to go play out the back. I wanted to play out the front because there was fucking gravestones in there.
Would you ever go on a paranormal investigation?
Fuck yeah, you would.
I would, but I'm paranoid about shit coming home with me.
Well, we would protect you. We've gotten really good at it.
I know how to prevent that from happening.
So do I.
I would. I 100%
Sausage, we have to get you. We would have so much fun if you came over with us. We're going to investigate again. So, like, Jenna and Rupert's wedding venue is haunted as fuck, and so we have investigated. We're going back again. We did it last week. We're going to go back next week to just, like, get some shit. But it's so much fun.
It's so much
fun.
It would be good. Yeah, fucking hell, Rainey. You remember me going to your bloody spook house with you in Arizona.
I took him to his first haunted house because they don't have haunted houses in Australia.
Okay, what do you mean by haunted
house?
house?
Okay, but here's the thing. No. Here's the thing. You guys are the same. She will go ghost hunting, won't go to a haunted house. We took him to a haunted house in Arizona when I was in college, and he was so
screamed like a girl.
Terrified.
Did I tell you I got roped into the haunted forest next weekend with Sherry?
I want to go.
Next Friday.
I'm a little offended. I thought we were going together. When I come back to Adelaide, We are going to the
We got
prison.
the Adelaide jail ghost tours that they do. Or,
Yeah,
Reyna,
we're doing
you can,
that. 1,000%.
You can head
We're
out.
also just going to go up by Scott and fucking Jess's house to that goddamn... They basically live on a cemetery.
Yeah, well. Isn't that weird that Jess grew up in a place that had fucking tombstones in it, and now she's basically got her own place with a cemetery?
And
What's
then
going on
went
there?
to the Bailey's property.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that one that Beck and Ryan live in now? That place was fucked. I
That
saw
was
shit
fucked
there
up.
when I stayed there. So did Tom. Like,
Did,
Harrison walked out one day and he's like, Mom, the old man won't leave me alone. I will
That's
never forget it. It was
right.
like... It was,
Well, that
yeah.
house is knocked down now, man.
I had some very weird shit happen in that house when I was visiting Tom, and he was living there for a little while, and it was in my era of, like, me no longer acknowledging that I experienced these things, but it was fucked up.
Yeah, man, I found it was weird too. But anyway, that house is gone now, so...
Yeah, well, but the property is still there.
I love it. I love the feeling of a house that you know is inhabited by other things.
Oh, 1,000%.
I love the experiences. I was talking to my daughter in the kitchen yesterday, and out of the pantry, a box just came flying out. And she looked at me and she goes, Mom, you done pissed them off.
I just want to ask you, Meg,
Yeah.
so if we're going to do this, that's cool. I'm more than down for it. But I want a fucking episode on black-eyed children.
She doesn't like it.
No, I have it written.
Oh, you do?
I do.
I told her this, too, when you said it, so...
Yeah.
Man, that shit freaks me out.
I know, and there's actually a lot in the Pacific Northwest. Like there's a whole section
But she don't like this shit.
Oh no, I don't mind this one.
Oh, I thought you said the black-eyed shit fucks you up.
I mean, nothing really fucks me up. I go into
It would
demons and all
fuck
that
me
stuff.
up. Something's just not quite right there, is it? When you hear the stories and they're like, they try and ask to come in, but they can't communicate properly.
I mean, it's creepy, but
Well, maybe I'm misinterpreting your thing of hating like the no eye thing from the Mummy.
Oh, I won't watch The Mummy.
She won't watch
Okay.
the Mummy.
No, but you go on fucking ghost tours and...
Oh yeah, I'll talk about demons all
But
day
no,
long.
Sausage, right after you messaged me about the black-eyed people, I said it to her, and she was like, oh, I'm already doing one. And I was like, well, Sausage is requesting it,
Good,
so we
good.
need to get it done.
Well,
so
you've
now,
got me,
so
then I'll
Sausage,
come and do what I
now
need
you
to.
are a contributor to the podcast, so
yes.
now you get you have some pull in what we do, so...
So we're
Shit.
pretty much done for the rest of the year with what I have written. How about we do the Black Eyed Children episode sometime January, February, and we'll record that, and then we'll bring you in to discuss.
Yeah, wicked, because I'm pretty sure there's some that happen here too. So once again, is it a religious type? And I'll see what I can find out.
But
as
Did
well.
you just say wicked?
Yeah, that's one of his favorite
Wicked.
words.
That is no. I'm from New England.
They say wicked.
Oh my goodness, they say wicked all the time. When I say
Yeah.
wicked here, kids make fun of me.
I feel like
Oh,
that's
yeah, we say it every
sausage.
time.
Wicked.
No,
He's
wicked is-
always said wicked.
Wicked is a New England term. Nobody says it out here.
Maybe it's a UK term that goes to like the convicts down to Australia. It like goes
That's
wraps around the
Dirty
other
old
way.
convicts.
Dirty
you
old
got
convicts.
locked up if you stole a cabbage back in the day.
I was gonna say, why are you over in Australia? Why is your family there, sausage? What'd
Yeah,
you guys
what'd you
do
guys
wrong?
do?
I don't know. Fucking took a left when we should have gone right. I think. But I don't know.
That probably sounds about.
All right. Okay. Well, sausage, lemon, porridge,
Skittlebutt.
skittlebutt, skittlebum. Thank you so much for coming on and joining us today and giving us all of your insight, Aussie insight. But I don't think it was all Aussie insight. Just like I love
I
how
think it
much
was
you.
outlier insight, which is what we like the best, most of all.
Yeah.
Just somebody who thinks outside of the box.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not supposed to say box. I just learned that.
Depends on what box you're talking about, Megan.
Think outside the vagina.
Sausage, do you have any
Sorry.
words of wisdom for our American listeners, or any of our listeners for that matter?
Yeah.
Words of wisdom.
Oh yeah. If you go to bed with an itchy bumhole, you wake up with a smelly finger.
That is something he has said as long as I've known him. So
I hate
yeah,
it.
we're just gonna keep it
I hate
there.
it.
You guys, you know where to find us on all of the socials at Lunatic Soup Podcast on all of the things. And lunaticsouppodcast.com. You can watch us on the YouTubes. We're going to have this on the YouTube. So if you want to see the handsomest lemon sausage porridge mun that you've ever seen, I would say the handsomest Australian, but I can't say that because I am married to one. So
I'll say the handsomest Australian then.
there you go. I actually do think my husband just
You're
got
not
home.
looking too hard, are you?
I see it
She's
tiny.
only met 3. She's met your brother, Tom, and you. So.
Oh, no. I've met Scotty.
Oh, you met Scotty too.
Oh, there's
4.
a child.
4.
There's a child. Okay, we'll finish this.
So, but thank you for coming on. You want to tell everyone to get some lunatic soup? You tell them all to get some lunatic soup.
Say, get yourself some lunatic soup.
Yeah. Go out and get yourself some lunatic soup, guys.
And remember, in this crazy world,
It's good to be a lunatic.
bye.
Bye.